Welcome back to Media Week. I'm joined on the desk by James Manning, and we're going to take a look at some of the big issues in the media space this week, starting with the new Communications Minister, Mitch Fifield, taking up that role. Does that change the outlook for media reform, do you think?
Look, I think it makes a lot of people a lot more optimistic about what might happen. Like as we mentioned last week with Malcolm Turnbull, of course, being the former minister. Don't know a lot about Mitch Fifield at the moment, but the commercial radio conference that Cathy will be at is on in 2 weeks' time. Malcolm Turnbull was booked to open it. There's a bit of hope that he still might show up, so that'd be good. If not him, well then maybe Mitch Fifield. So we might hear a little bit more from there about what's going to happen in that media space. But I mean, some people now think there will be certainly some change, but I'm not quite over that line yet.
OK, we'll wait and see. The AFR Magazine, speaking of leadership change, has had to change the cover this week. The 5 most powerful people is basically the focus of the magazine, and Tony Abbott's been taken off the front. Yeah,
look, and Malcolm Turnbull has replaced him. It was lucky they were able to catch it before.
Yeah.
Well, I think it had printed, but they hadn't finished stitching the whole book yet. Okay. So, yeah, there's the original cover with the Prime Minister front and centre. So they were able to replace it. We're sort of interested in they go through the power, and there's the new one with Malcolm Turnbull. It's in the Financial Review. I think it's out on Friday. Yep. The interesting thing, they go through all the different sectors. We're interested in the media sector. So you've got the top 5: Rupert Murdoch, Kerry Stokes, Reed Hastings is the interesting one, David Gingerland, Greg Hywood. Reed Hastings, of course, the Chief Executive of Netflix. Yeah, so a massive impact globally, but of course also in Australia, where they're doing very well. Big numbers. We don't know exactly how many, but you hear anything from 700,000-800,000 through to maybe 2 million people in all the households that have subscribed. So having a big impact here as well as globally. Yeah,
and there's been a little bit of commentary about Aussie viewers being hard to hook.
Yeah, well, harder than other countries, I guess, is the thing. Yeah, because Netflix are very good on their data. They analyse if you're a subscriber, whatever you watch, they have algorithms that'll work out what else you might be interested in. So it's like you shop on Amazon; they'll pitch stuff to you which you might look at. Yeah. So and they've got some. It's on our website if anybody's interested in more detail. But they've worked out at what point in a program a person gets hooked. So, some of the ones that have been very good are House of Cards, which was like, I think, 3 episodes in, viewers got hooked on watching the rest of them. Orange is the New Black, I think, was the 2nd episode. So, it's just amazing stuff. So,
yeah, the analytics of it.
And it takes a little longer for Australian viewers to commit as opposed to some other countries.
Another magazine that's been in the papers, the Australian Women's Weekly, they held that Women of the Future function that made some headlines. Peter Credlin up alongside Annabelle Crabb as well. Yeah,
it was the first time she'd really spoken publicly, I guess, since the change of leadership. The new magazine's out this week, the Women's Weekly, and they've got some of the details. They had some scholarships they gave to some people associated with those awards, but the cover is though Oprah, so they've got a world-exclusive Oprah Winfrey story. So it's interesting to see what that says.
And MTV has been busy this week, just after the success of the Video Music Awards. They've partnered with Flight Centre and found some potential stars.
Yeah, look, they've big new campaigns launched this week with Flight Centre, and it's right. They're calling it FOMO, fear of missing out, for young people. They don't want them to miss out on travel. So if you want to reach young people, MTV's the place to be. They made a lot of noise at the Video Music Awards with Kanye West in particular, and then that whole campaign which has sprung up, Kanye for 2020. So Kanye for the next president of the United States, which probably would be a good change if Donald Trump manages to get up this time. But they had something called the Brand New competition. They were searching for some new talent. They identified the winners were a band called At Sunset, which is a trio of young guys from Adelaide. They'd already won a previous Nova competition, so they really do seem to be on the track now for maybe being the next big thing out of Oz.
OK, well, watch out for them. Instagram, it's passed a major milestone, James. 400 million members. Where's all this growth been coming from?
It's a lot of people, isn't it? Of course, owned by Facebook, so that helps grow them, I guess. There's a bit of cross-promotion there. But look, Asia's been one of their big growth areas, particularly outside of the US. So they've, some people think maybe they've reached saturation point in the US, so they're conquering the rest of the world. The big Asian markets, Japan and Indonesia, have really been piling in. The people have been joining the Instagram community.
And also worth noting, Fox Sports has started broadcasting the Rugby World Cup, and it's used this time, best time as any, I guess, to launch a new app.
Yeah, look, it makes a great second screen companion because there's some long nights if you stay up. I think if you watch the Wallabies this week against Fiji, it was like 1:30 a.m. Some of the other matches are a little bit more time friendly for us, but there's live stats, there's video, and there's live scores from not just rugby union, of course. 14 different sports are covered, something like 140 different competitions. And that Fox Sports News channel, which is, I think, channel 500 on the Foxtel platform, is streamed live as well, so you can have that running too.
Okay, that digital convergence. All right.
Absolutely.
Let's take a look at week 38 for free-to-air television ratings now and see how the X Factor fared. It's back on top again. You can see there for Channel 7, followed by The Bachelor final, 7 News Sunday, Peter Allen Part 1 and 9 News Sunday. If we turn the page now, you can see here number 6, also The Bachelor final, X Factor, 800 Words, X Factor and 9
Great
News.
to see some sort of non-news shows cropping up, like 800 Words, the drama, the reality shows. They're all drawing big audience as well as the news.
The Bachelor finale up there, James, and then we've got I should say, The Bachelorette's started this week.
Yeah, it started this week. Yeah, look, did some fantastic business. Yeah, big audiences.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the subscription TV ratings. AFL dominating at the top there. But you can see Sky News made it in
cropping
number 4
up there. Yeah, fantastic. That was that Monday night, the change of leadership, some great coverage. Peter Van Onselen and Paul Murray in particular were on air a lot. David Spears, of course, and there was some great sparring by all the members on the panel, which kept viewers watching till 11, 12 o'clock at night.
Now, I might be biased, but it was compelling viewing. And you can see here the second page there, we've got the STV ratings. Paul Murray, AFL, the NFL making it in there, of course.
And
the
Jared Hayne, of course, his game on ESPN was one of the biggest NFL audiences ever in Australia.
Yeah, a little bit of a hometown connection there, and then the V8 supercars. Let's go back to television and Channel 10 revealing that after an extended break, Offspring's actually going to return in 2016. Yeah,
it looks good news, isn't it, for producers John Edwards and Imogen Banks bringing that back. It's been 2 years, so a lot of people had thought of being gone, but look, Channel 10 never actually came out and said it had been cancelled. So
no, but a couple of key players aren't there, are they? I think there's a few who were involved from the start who won't be involved now.
Yeah, no. But Asha Keddy will be back, so that's great news.
Yeah.
So I think she's the key to getting people to watch it, and I think it'll probably do good business for them next year.
Yeah, absolutely. And 9 Adelaide, it's moved to a new facility with a street front studio.
Yeah, look, Peary Street in Adelaide, it's all the rage, if you like. It's worked very well for 7, of course, being in Martin Place,
Yes.
It's one of their keys. It's done for Sunrise in particular, people love to get a bit of a crowd outside the window.
The waving and the banners in the background.
Yeah, absolutely. So 9 needs a bit of a boost in Adelaide, so that might be one of the things. Give it a bit more of a profile.
Yep.
And even if you don't go and watch it, you get to see there's the backdrop of Adelaide out the window, so it's good. It just gives them a bit of immediacy. You look at the news in Sydney on both 9 and 7, they have Sydney Harbour sort of live backdrops behind the newsreaders, so people like to connect to the city they're in. And 9, also in Perth, they've got a big new facility opening in Perth, I think, next year, so they see it as part of their strategy.
So will the Adelaide be the glass
performance.
screen with the people behind it, or will it be more like a
Well, I haven't seen it go to air, but I think the newsreaders aren't backing onto the street.
Okay.
But the street's there on a side shot. You'll see the news desk and the street. So, like when they cut away to ad breaks and stuff like that, you'll get the overall picture.
Okay, and James, anything in the weeks ahead you'll be keeping an eye out for in Media Week?
Yeah, look, I mentioned the commercial radio conference coming up, so that'll be pretty big news. There's always some, especially if we get, as we said, the Minister or the Prime Minister come along, we might get some expansion on what they're happening in. And also next week is radio ratings. So we alluded at the start of the show to we'll be looking out for how Hamish and Andy are back. This will be the first survey where they've been on air for the whole survey.
Okay.
So it'll be really crucial. And they're a significant part of the turnaround at Southern Cross Austereo.
Yeah, because I think we mentioned Kate, Tim and Marty beat them in this last survey, but they weren't there for the whole time, were they?
Correct,
so
yeah. So
take that into account.
Kate, Tim and Marty can hang on, that'll be a massive win for them. So we think the gap will narrow. Whether Hamish and Andy will be able to push back into first place, we don't know. The other thing to watch is the impact Hamish and Andy will have on the breakfast shows. So the theory being, if you watch Drive Radio, you listen to Hamish and Andy when you get out of your car at night. You get in the morning and it's still on that station.
Right.
So you might stay with the breakfast shows.
Okay.
So that way they can boost the station overall.
Oh, interesting stuff. All right, James Manning, editor of Mediaweek. Thanks for joining us. That wraps up the program for this week. From the team here, thanks for your company.